And good afternoon. My name is Kevin Olson. I'm pleased to be the Vice President of the Association of the U.S. Army's Minnesota chapter. It's called the General John Vesey chapter of the United States Army. We represent 6,600 members that are passionate about the Army in Minnesota. And we're here today to present a very distinguished national award to retired First Sergeant Shane Hudella for your incredible work on behalf of the Army. Before I begin, I want to recognize a couple of distinguished military members in the audience. As I mentioned, we have our chapter president, Lieutenant Colonel retired John Lovell, the current Command Sergeant Major of the Army National Guard in Minnesota, Sergeant Major Jason Ross. Thank you for being with us, Sergeant Major. Then we have two distinguished retired Command Sergeant Majors, Army Command Sergeant Majors with us. One happens to be Shane's father-in-law, Kirk Udapel. So nice to have you here. Thank you for your distinguished service in Vietnam and your service to our nation. And we also have retired Command Sergeant Major Ed Adringa, who's also on the staff. For those of you that are on the board of UHL, can you introduce yourself?
Chad Carlson, CIO and board member at Large.
Thank you, Chad.
Tom Patno, current board chair.
Nice to meet you, Tom. Thank you for being here. Anyone else we should recognize, Shane?
That's it.
Oh, terrific. Well, we are the military, so we like to start things off officially. So I ask that those of you that are guests in the room, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Our association was so honored to put Shane forward for this award. Again, it is a national award for those that have continued their lives and their commitment to our Army family, our service members, our veterans, and our military families. And we couldn't think of anyone more deserving than Shane to do that. Both John and I happened to be at the national conference for the Association of the U.S. Army in Washington, D.C., and we found out that day that we were getting it. It was presented by the Sergeant Major of the Army, Sergeant Major Weimer. To be clear, no one else has that rank. He's an E10. He is the one person that has that rank, and he oversees all of the enlisted soldiers in the Army, Army Reserve, Army National Guard. So it was a real privilege to receive it. It's that high level of an award. I'd like to tell you a little bit about our chapter and about AUSA. And with that, I invite Lieutenant Colonel retired John Lovell forward. He is our president of the General John Vesey chapter. John.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, everybody, for being here this afternoon. It's truly an honor for me to be able to stand here today and honor First Sergeant Shane Hudella, somebody that both Kevin and I and others in here have stood in uniform along with him. So it's truly an honor to be here today. And I'd like to tell you a little bit. The Association of the United States Army is a nonprofit educational and professional development association serving America's Army and the supporters of a strong national defense. AUSA provides a voice for the Army, supports the soldier, and honors those who have served in order to advance the security of the nation. AUSA supports soldiers, their families, Army civilians, and provides a voice for the Army and honors those who have served. As the Army's premier nonprofit, educational, and professional association, we educate those who served and their families, Army civilians, retired soldiers, and veterans. We inform our members of Congress and the American public about issues affecting America's Army, the regular Army, the Army National Guard, and Army Reserve, and we want to connect America's total Army and its industry partners with like-minded associations and other supporters at the national, regional, and today chapter level. AUSA is open to everyone. I've said Army many, many times here, but it is open to everyone, whether you have a relationship with the U.S. Army or you'd simply like to offer your support to our soldiers. same way that Shane does, day in, day out. Including all Army ranks, all components are represented within AUSA, the Regular Army, the National Guard, Army Reserve, government civilians, retirees, wounded warriors, veterans, and concerned citizens and family members. Indeed, AUSA welcomes anyone who subscribes to the philosophy of a strong national defense. In Minnesota, we are very proud to be a part of the General John W. Vesey Jr. chapter, which has more than 6,600 members, and we are proud to speak out for the men and women of the United States Army who proudly serve our country. And at this time, I'll turn it back over to Kevin.
I'd like to read our citation, and then after I'm done reading the citation, I'll invite you, Shane, Sergeant Major Ross, and John forward to present the plaque. Shane is being awarded the Award for Distinguished Service from the Association of the U.S. Army. Shane conceived of and founded the 501c3 United Heroes League, and his nonprofit has provided much more than $12 million worth of free sports equipment, game tickets, cash grants, skills development camps, and special experiences to military families across the U.S. and Canada. The United Heroes League keeps military kids active through healthy programs through sports while their parents serve our nation. So far, more than 50,000, much more than 50,000 military families either keep or start their jobs or keep their kids in sports, and this has been an essential component. Through United Heroes League, Shane coordinates the following services for military kids. Game tickets, and this is through Major League Baseball, Major League Soccer, the NBA, NFL, and the NHL teams, and our player partners. United Heroes League has sent thousands of military families to pro and college games for free nationwide. Secondly, sports equipment. United Heroes League distributes gear for a variety of sports to ensure military kids are healthy and active in the sports that they love. Next is camps. United Heroes League hosts an annual warrior camp, and UHL has sent thousands of military kids to some of the finest camps available in the nation at the professional level to engage them through sports while their parents are deployed. Grants. UHL has paid well over $500,000 in grants to help with local sports associations and their fees. And many service members are on a reserve status until they are deployed. So it's a great way for UHL to say thank you to the families that give so much. And then special experiences. Shane is a master at ensuring that UHL is connected with all of our sports franchises nationwide. And with our help, some generous donors, private partners, and athlete ambassadors provide lifetime experiences to deserving men and women of our armed forces and their kids. We also are recognizing Shane for his public service in the Minnesota House of Representatives and the things that he did as a first-year state representative and a member of the House Veterans Affairs Committee. He assisted his colleagues passing into law more than $78 million in funding to renovate the Hastings Veteran Home, and got a Veterans Omnibus Bill passed that will exempt Minnesota veterans that are 100% service-connected disability rated to not pay motor vehicle taxes on up to 2 vehicles. So we also want to recognize that. So with that, I ask you, Command Sergeant Major Ross and President Lovold, if you come forward, and Shane, if you could join us up front here. So, Shane, in honor of, on behalf of the General John Vesey chapter of the Association of the U.S. Army, it is our pleasure to present you the Award for Distinguished Service on behalf of the Association of the U.S. Army. Congratulations.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you, Shane. Shane, at this time, we're welcome your comments.
Well, thank you so much. I'm just incredibly honored to receive this award today.
I'm one of the luckiest guys in Hastings in Minnesota in the United States. I had the honor and privilege of serving for 24 years from 1988 to 2012. And close to the end there, I had this crazy idea to start a nonprofit. The original intent was just to help some local families. It was 2008. Deployment cycles were incredibly high post 9/11. And I just happened to meet a couple of pro athletes that wanted to help. Things kind of snowballed from there. The next thing you know, we were on NBC Nightly News. We were at the White House receiving an award as the best new military nonprofit in America. And so I decided, well, the crazy ideas just have to keep coming. And we continue to grow and grow. And we're continuing to grow at a rapid rate now, so much so that all of the figures that retired Colonel Olson mentioned in the citation are doubled or more now. We're actually at the point where over 25 million in giving to over 100,000 families, and things are just skyrocketing for us. And for me, it's such an honor, right? I got to serve with the best military in the world, the greatest men and women in the world for a couple of decades. And what I saw throughout that experience is the military does a fantastic job of training folks like myself, my retired CSM father-in-law Kurt, Command Sergeant Major Ross. They do a great job preparing us to go and deploy and do the things that we need to do sometimes as military folks. However, the families never really sign that dotted line, but they're the ones that are left behind, and the data that we've looked at shows that when mom or dad have to deploy, those military kids tend to become withdrawn. Their grades tend to drop. They start to have behavioral issues. A number of negative behaviors that unfortunately affect those family members of our men and women that serve. So that was my intent with the foundation, was find a way for them to cope. Being an avid hockey player myself, we started with hockey, but the big connection was not about the hockey stick. It was about keeping the kids engaged, getting them out with a team, getting them in front of a positive role model, a coach, while mom or dad were gone. And we found a lot of success in doing that, and I'm just incredibly grateful for the amount of people that we've been able to help. So continuing that on, it's cool that we've hit a point now that we're starting to span generations. We just opened a hockey rink in town here. A World War II veteran by the name of Lou Chiquette that is represented on our Veterans Monument heard about it, wanted to come see it. So we wheeled this 99-year-old World War II veteran out onto the ice rink, and he was just incredibly excited to see the things that we're doing for the next generation of warriors in the United States. And my interpretation of all that is that I have never seen a group of individuals in my life that care about each other more than military members do. And it doesn't matter what branch they are. It doesn't matter if they're a Vietnam vet, a World War II, post 9/11. We're still in this in one big team till we take our last breaths. And that is why I get up early every morning, go in and try and do the best that we can for military families, and we've done a pretty good job at it. The first year of legislature for me was pretty interesting. It's a different business, folks, but I was incredibly honored to sit on the Veterans Committee at the House, and as a freshman was able to get some things done. We got a big bucket of money for the Veterans Home here in Hastings. We passed a great transportation bill that's going to help a lot of veterans, especially in today's economy. And we had a few other bills that we got through that are going to benefit veterans long term. So excited to do another year up there and try and get a little bit more done for our veterans community before I kind of come home, so to speak, and focus exclusively on United Heroes League. So just want to say thank you again for the incredible honor of receiving this award. It means a ton, especially with guys like my father-in-law being life members of AUSA. I know the incredible work that the organization does to help military families across the United States, and appreciate the time from all our distinguished guests coming out here today, and just wanted to say thank you again. Thanks. Thanks, Kevin.
Well, thank you and congratulations, Shane. This concludes our award presentation. And for those of you in the media, I would like to let you know that Shane, myself, and John from the association and members of the board are available to talk about the significance of this award to our greater military community. So thank you all for attending, and congratulations once again, Shane.
Shane, just tell me, what is it about sports that is important to these military kids?
So I think the thing that's important about sports to military kids and their families is really they're part of that team. It's the same thing with their moms and dads that serve. The military is the greatest team in the world, in my opinion. And the connection that kids have with that passion for a sport and for being on a team and being around other kids their age that are working towards a common goal, working towards achieving something, that does such a great job of helping them cope with the negative things in life. We all have positives and negatives in our life, no matter who we are or what we do. And we've found that having those kids engaged in a sport is a great way to bring more positive things into their life, especially if they're dealing with a negative of a parent being gone for a deployment, gone for training, injured, dealing with PTSD, or in some cases not coming home.
Shane, why do you do this? What's the impetus here? You can look this way here, to the right here.
Sure. So the reason I do this, I've got 4 boys. I served for a long time, had to go away for training and different things throughout my career. It's tough to say those goodbyes. And if it's tough for me as a service member to say those goodbyes, imagine what it's like for the kids and for the significant others that are left behind. So for me, doing this, it gets to bring some positive things back into their life and helps them cope with those tough things in a big way. I've got the greatest job in the world. I get to be Santa Claus every day. Every day we're surprising kids with meeting pro athletes, that first pair of hockey skates or that first baseball, surprising a family with free tickets to a game, or other experiences that we offer. So the job is just on the nonprofit side is incredibly rewarding to me and our staff. We get to brighten people's day every single day of the year.
Being a lifelong Hastings resident, Shane, I've been able to watch kind of up close yet from a backseat working in sports at KWA for 20 years before going to the news side and really watching you work from a distance. Have you been able to stop and pinch yourself and just say, from the defending the blue line days all the way till now, does it even register that you've touched as many families, kids? Have you been able to even put that in your brain yet and understand the impact you've made, not only in the Hastings community, but really around North America?
Yeah, it's I need to make myself think of it sometimes. My brain's probably just wired weird because every day I get up and think about, we've been able to help over 100,000 families, but you know what? There's 5 million of them in the United States. The 5 million military kids, 25 million military families. We got a long ways to go. So sometimes I'll get frustrated that, we still have a lot of growth and millions more to positively impact. But then I stop and think, hey, we started with absolutely nothing. I remember our first year with about $30,000 in donations, and I was serving in the military full time and trying to help get the nonprofit going. And to think now the number of families that we've helped is pretty heartwarming. And now that our campus here in Minnesota is growing, we're building the nation's first sports complex for military kids and veterans right here in Hastings. And to me, that accomplishes a new set of dynamics for us. We're becoming a bridge between the military community and the civilian community. And that's incredibly important to command sergeant majors and commanders, to units and to military leadership, to bridge that gap and build that relationship, because the military depends on communities and businesses and other organizations to support those military men and women when they do need to answer the call of duty.
With the amazing rink that's put out there, what are the next couple of things that you're looking to add to expand the Tradition Veterans Complex?
Yeah, the Tradition Veterans Complex that is well underway at United Heroes League in Hastings already has Shields Rink, an outdoor refrigerated ice rink on it. We've got one of the newest and largest veterans monuments in Minnesota on the property. Full-scale military confidence course, land navigation, 3D archery, all these fun things that we do. But we're really kind of just getting going. We still have plans to add a football field, a soccer field, a baseball diamond, an 80,000 square foot facility that encompasses an indoor rink, basketball turf, batting cages, a number of different assets that we'll use for our mission with military kids and veterans, but we'll also be able to share with the community.
Can I ask one more?
Mm-hmm.
I know your time in the state legislature was short, will be short, but what have you taken out of that time in state government, and what might you take out of the next year and be able to bring back now and incorporate into what you do at UHL to maybe make it run more smoothly?
Yeah, I think things I've taken from the first year in the legislature is a better understanding of how government works and how money flows, both in and out. All the effort that it takes to get a bill from conception to law. It's a process, and there's a tremendous amount of work that goes hand in hand with that. So as far as takeaways, I want to try and get as much done for veterans as I can in my final year. Hastings has a dire need for around $72 million to mitigate PFAS, water contamination in town. When I'm done there, I'll have a better understanding of how nonprofits and the government interacts with regards to funding and different things. Our organization has been incredibly lucky in that we've taken virtually no government funding. We're supported by individuals and some great corporate partners for 99% or more of our revenues. So I think on the back end, some of those lessons learned at the Capitol will definitely benefit us at United Heroes League, and we'll re-examine to see if there's times that it would make sense for us to apply to the state or federal government for growth.